If you're having coffee with me, I'd welcome you to my sovereign state of words. Make yourself at home. Put your feet up. In case you missed the memo, I hail from a teapot-shaped country, the Sovereign Republic of Zimbabwe, having gained sovereignty on 18 April 1980. In the grand scheme of time, it's a fairly young state, still having people who witnessed and even fought in the liberation struggle. We are constantly reminded of the debt we owe our liberators. That it's not surprising to hear someone remark that perhaps they should unliberate the country so a new generation can liberate it and enjoy the rewards. They say I'm from the born-free generation because I was born after independence and never had to witness the atrocities that came with colonization or the armed struggle for independence. I suppose I'm living my ancestors' wildest dreams and treasuring our sovereignty. As our former late president used to say, or is it late former president, Zimbabwe will never be a colony again. If you're having coffee with me, I'd ask you what sovereignty is. Does anybody know what it really is? Or it's a platitude by politicians like democracy and patriot? Sovereignty, sovereignty, sovereignty. Who needs democracy when you have sovereignty? The electricity supply is erratic, running water isn't guaranteed, roads have potholes the size of small graves, elections are chaotic, and the economy is free-falling. But hey, at least we have our sovereignty. The Zimbabwean dream is to leave Zimbabwe. At almost every turn, you find people being encouraged to leave at the earliest convenience. Of course, there are some who have left for greener pastures only to find that life as an immigrant isn't all sunshine and roses. There's a Shona proverb, kusina mai hakuyendwi, which directly translates to don't go to a place without your mother, and is a cautionary proverb that when you travel to a place without your kin, you're likely to face all sorts of struggles with no one to help cushion the landing. You'll be discriminated against, told you smell, and other profanities. If you're having coffee with me, I'll tell you that when the current president came to power in 2018, his administration has been referring to Zimbabwe as the Second Republic. I've never understood how we became a Second Republic, but hey, at least we have sovereignty. Many promises have been made, few have been kept, but we do still have our sovereignty. For such a weighty word, sovereignty seems to be very fickle and needs to be guarded jealously as it's threatened by dark forces, imperialists, Western governments, regime change, propaganda, and maybe even satellite internet. Starlink is not yet licensed to operate in Zimbabwe, although according to an estimate on the Starlink website, it is projected to be available in Q3 of 2024, subject to government approval and network expansion, of course. The Minister of ICT has made remarks that they are open to working with Starlink, but seems they have reservations which seem to lean towards refusing Starlink's application. I would guess part of that could be due to protecting local internet service providers, which will likely be threatened by Starlink as a faster, unlimited, and more affordable alternative. The direct payment system might also prejudice them of money they would make from tax, unless they can work out a way to get in on the action. There's also the issue of data mining, meaning Starlink might have access to a data a sovereign republic doesn't want in the hands of an entity outside their regulation and control. Speaking of regulation and control, the government has on occasion shut down the internet, but they would not be able to exert that kind of authority over the Starlink network, which in my humble opinion is probably the biggest gripe they have over licensing Starlink. Strangely enough, a ZBC outside broadcasting truck was spotted with a Starlink kit on its rooftop, so evidently someone is aware of the benefit of Starlink coverage. What's good for the national broadcaster should be good for the nation, right? While Starlink can work in Zimbabwe, it's currently illegal to use the kit, and the government has warned people that it will start to raid and arrest anyone who sells, advertises, or owns unlicensed Starlink. If you're having coffee with me, I'll tell you it's been a long walk to freedom for an opposition politician and activist, Job Scala, who has been on a 500-day pre-trial detention on charges of obstruction of justice and inciting public violence after saying that the ruling party had killed an opposition activist. A Harare magistrate convicted him of inciting public violence, but gave him a suspended 2-year sentence because he had already spent so long in jail. However, his freedom might be short-lived, as he has also been found guilty of publishing falsehoods prejudicial to the state and is yet to be sentenced. The politician seems to be following in the footsteps of Nelson Mandela and has taken a similar fashion sense, as well as adopting hints of his diction and perhaps eyes becoming the next president wanting to start his own political party. It's still to be seen if he has gained enough political mileage for such a bold move, or he misread the room, as public sentiment seems to sway towards the opinion that he is no Nelson Mandela and he may have committed a career-ending move. How's your sovereignty? What's been happening in your neck of the woods?